I vote yes. Minimalists can have hobbies. I have a hobby, it's journaling. Now, you look at this, this is pretty minimalist, right? As far as journals go. But my hobby, what it really looks like, is this. This is not too bad, right? I mean, it doesn't take up too much space. Oh, it's heavy though. It is far more self-controlled now as a minimalist. And I think it's very freeing now to enjoy my hobby. And it never stresses me out. It never costs a lot of money. And if I do spend money, I don't regret it. And it brings me a lot of happiness. I think that minimalism frees you up to enjoy the things that you love the most, that matter to you most, the values that are important to you and you want to be intentional about begin to rise up like bubbles. Owning less is part of minimalism, but so is intentional living and intentionally focusing on the things that you value and are most important to you. And I value self-care, and one of those things is my hobby. It makes me happy. I'm taking care of myself and my mind when I journal, for productivity, for self-growth, for any of the things for sanity, whatever I need to journal about or keep track of, that's helping me. And that's helping my mind. It's helping my mental clarity. Welcome to the channel. My name is Erica. I share videos about making life simple. Minimalism definitely plays a role in how I go about my hobby. I have to apply a lot of fiscal self-control when I'm in Michael's or I'm shopping on Etsy and I see things that I know I would really love to have, but if they're not intentional and purposeful, like some stickers or some really adorable vellum or even another journal, then I have to have a purpose for it. I have to have something in mind for it specifically. And if I don't allow myself to buy it. But if it is something I know exactly what I want to do with, it makes me happy, it's part of the hobby, I don't have any regrets about spending the money, then it becomes part of my hobby. Then I have no problem spending the money. But it's that minimalist self-control that I have now where the hobby is enjoyable and fun. And I look forward to the time that I get to journal and the freedom and the ability to just create something on paper that's going to last and I can reference back to all year long. If it makes you happy, then why worry about how much of it you have? If it's a hobby and it brings you joy, it doesn't bring you stress about the money you spend on it, it doesn't bring you stress about storing it, keeping it, having a lot of it. If those feelings are happening, then it's kind of extended out of the definition of hobby, out of something that makes you happy, brings you joy, is fun for you. Like for instance, let's say you have 250 balls of yarn in your house. It's taking over a room. It is now clutter to you. It is not, you don't look at that and feel excited and inspired to knit something. You look at that and you get upset at the money you've spent. You get upset at the clutter in your house. You're upset that you're not getting to projects because you're just not enjoying the hobby anymore. Well, then it's not fun. Then the purpose has changed. And those 250 balls of yarn now represent too much of something. And that's where minimalism can help rein that in. So I'm not picking on you, if you have 250 balls of yarn and you're happy, then I'm happy. But if you have 250 balls of yarn and you're not happy about that, then maybe applying some minimalist perspective to it would help you. So if there were a couple of projects you had in mind, then maybe you choose the yarn for those projects, you take all the rest of it and you put it in a box. And maybe you could park it somewhere in your house because you're unsure what to do with it. It's your maybe box. And you live for a month working on the hobby and the projects that make you happy. You're making a blanket, you're making a scarf, whatever it is that you're doing for yourself, and you have that very focused collection and that hobby in front of you, and it's making you happy again. Then awesome, then sell the rest of the yarn, donate the rest of the yarn, come up with projects that you would do with the rest of the yarn, but only pull out the pieces that you need. And getting it out of sight may not put it out of mind for you. So putting it in the garage or the attic is just going to be clutter somewhere else in your house, unless you have intention to do something about that. My mother is an artist, and I credit her with any creative capacity that I have. I collect stickers and inserts, journals. I have a primary journal that I use for tracking my days, my weeks, and my tasks. My Ricobello Traveler's Notebook that I've showed you before used to do this for me, but my creative flow has been really lending itself to this A5 size that lays flat rather than a traveler's notebook. And I have a reading journal that tracks books read and my favorites, my favorite series, the days that I read. I also use Goodreads, the app, but I've extended one of my favorite pastimes, reading, into journaling, my favorite hobby. I brought them together by using this reading journal and a commonplace companion journal where I write down inspirational quotes from books. And then I also use this B6 Archer and Olive when I'm reading any professional growth books, and I make notes and jot ideas and brainstorm and brain dump into that journal. So those are 3 journals I use for my favorite pastime, which is reading. When I start mapping out a month, I think about the intentions, the goals, and the objectives to get there. So when I set intentions, I think about how I want to show up for the month. Healthy, strong, organized, relaxed, unstressed, ready to say yes to my kids. How do I want to show up to the month? And then goals are what I want to achieve, either professionally or personally, and objectives are the baby steps that are going to help me reach those goals. I have a journal that I call my writer's journal, where I brain dump and track notes about the writing and publishing process. My Purple Scribbles journal serves as basically like an exercise in morning pages, which, if you're unfamiliar, is a concept from Julia Cameron as a way to unstick writer's block. It's another journal in which I just brain dump and brainstorm. I have a YouTube journal I call my second brain, and it tracks my content, my ideas, your questions, your requests. I keep all that organized in this journal. And then I have 2 leather-bound journals that are just waiting for assignment. They were gifts, and their purpose will come to me. I just haven't met it yet. And then my journal bag keeps all of my hobbies centralized and organized for me. It's a Molly Ollie, and the side pockets keep all the goodies that I like to use for journaling. These Tombow pens are the best. They do not streak. And then when I use my markers and my highlighters over top of it, the ink doesn't streak or bleed onto the highlighter or onto the paper. I love these pens. And then my favorite pen to write longer, either stretches or brain dumps or paragraphs, is my liquid gel pen. This is an Energel pen. It is great for journaling and note-taking. And then I have these precision pens that kind of add like color to my weekly layouts. I have washi tape, scotch tape, correction tape, straight edge, stencils. These are all the goodies that come with journaling and help me frame out a page in the way that I have it in my mind. I can get it down on paper. Journaling as a hobby is a way for me to organize my thoughts, keep track of everything we need to do for a week, meal plan, help reset my intentions and help me revisit my intentions that I want to do each month. Any goals, any baby steps that I can do on a day to achieve that goal that I'm working towards. Hobbies matter. Hobbies make us happy. The hobby that I have remains inspiring and positive and fun. I have journaled for years. And only recently have I returned to it with happiness and not a weight of, have I spent too much money, and where is all my stuff, and should I or what do I want this to look like, and what do I need to buy to make it look like that. Now it's a very simple minimalist layout with simple color selections. And when I open it up, I am happy. I love looking at it. I've created that as a way of inspiring myself day to day. And that comes from minimalism. That comes from minimalism for me. That I now maintain my hobby with freedom of buying what I need and want instead of buying haphazardly, going through Michael's and just buying 5 packages of stickers. I'm buying something specific and inspiring that I know I'm going to use. Do you have a hobby and do you have balance with it? I think that's really something that minimalism has helped me with, is finding that positive balance in a hobby and in something that I enjoy doing. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more videos about minimalism, living with less, and making life simple. Here's the most recent video, as well as a video about the secret power of setting monthly intentions.